Hello, I'm Kip Williams, Artistic Director of Sydney Theatre Company, and welcome to our first ever virtual launch event, streaming live from our rehearsal rooms in Fox Studios. I'm so excited to be here today to launch the first part of our 2021 season. But before I do, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Gadigal and Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, who are the traditional custodians of the land on which Sydney Theatre Company gathers. We pay our respects to their elders past and present, and we extend our respect to all First Nations people with whom we work and with whom we share stories. 2021 will be a season in 2 acts. Tonight, I'll be revealing Act 1, the first 5 shows of the year, which is roughly a third of our 2021 season. We'll announce the rest of the season as Act 2 in March. Now, when we made this decision a few months ago, theatres were dark and it seemed like the least risky option for both our audience and our company. Theatres are now at 50% capacity, and we have hopes that this will increase soon. And with Wonangata having just closed last night, Rules for Living starting previews tomorrow, and the picture of Dorian Gray in rehearsals, it really feels like a wonderful moment to be launching a new season. I'm also so excited to be launching a season that includes plays back at the Wharf, our first season back in 3 years. The major upgrade has improved audience facilities and unleashed the creative potential of our new theatres. The new Wharf will preserve the magnificent heritage details that give the Wharf its unique wharfiness, but you'll also get experiences such as greater accessibility, new lifts and entries along the Wharf, more amenities, additional customer service hubs and vantage points to absorb the stunning harbour views. Since their renovations, the refitted Wharf theatres will now be fully flexible, which was Richard Werrett's original vision for the space. Each time you enter, you will be met with an exciting new seating configuration. To celebrate these new creative possibilities, I've put together a collection of 6 plays at the Wharf that comprise a very special theatrical journey. The renovated Wharf 4-5 will open to the public in January 2021, and we will commence productions at the Wharf from February. We can't wait to welcome you back to our beloved home base. A big thank you to the New South Wales Government and all our Wharf Renewal donors who have made this possible. It's also important to note that your safety is always our highest priority. We've developed stringent health and safety measures, which we will revise with government requirements and advice as the situation evolves. And now to announce our Act 1 of season 2021. Here's a little snapshot of what we have in store for you next year.
It's just the most joyous prospect to be back in the theatre. I mean, that feeling part of something.
Discovering and finding worlds together. I miss being on stage.
I just got butterflies actually thinking about that.
To be teleported to another time and place and to be lost in that world, I think is a real treat.
This is so special and it will be so magnificent on stage.
I've missed theatre as an artist. I've also missed being an audience member.
It's the kind of the adventure of the experience of it.
You feel like you've shifted together as a group.
You see the humanity, you see their vulnerabilities.
It should be a mirror, and I feel like that's what any audience member feels when they walk out of the theatre.
Giving voice to ideas and people that don't necessarily have a chance to.
I think there's going to be a lot of conversations about what it means to be a woman.
Laughter is a very unifying thing, and if the world needs anything at the moment, it's some point of connection.
We go to the theatre to be changed in some way.
We're looking for community and shared stories.
You want to be involved in something joyous, that is saying something that is powerful and that will change people, change minds or hearts.
The irreplaceable nature of theatre.
I think that's what it is.
Sharing an experience together.
Well, there you go, our first taste of 2021, and let's kick off with the first show. I'm thrilled to be directing the opening show back at the Wharf in February in the brand new Wharf 1 Theatre, and that show will be Playing Beatty Bow. The incredible Kate Mulvaney has adapted Ruth Park's classic novel for the stage in a beautiful, moving, warm, revelatory and magical story for all ages. This production follows on from Kate's landmark adaptation of another Ruth Park literary universe, the Harp and the South trilogy, which I was lucky enough to get to direct. Ever since then, Kate and I have been talking about what we could collaborate on next, and playing Beatty Bow seemed like the perfect choice to inaugurate The New Wharf, a story set in our neighbourhood of the Rocks that will invite audiences of all ages to come and celebrate our return home. Playing Beatty Bow will start the story with Abigail, a teenage girl in the present day of Sydney, who follows the strange young girl Beatty Bow back in time to 1873, to a Sydney of the past. As she sets out on a mission to return to her own time and family, she encounters many larger-than-life characters in the streets of the Rocks, in a beautiful story about family, friendship, and growing up. This was a story I was absolutely struck with as a child myself. It was my favourite novel growing up. It opened my eyes to my city. I was awed by the time travel and magic in it. And ever since, I can't help think of Beatty Bow every time I pass through the Rocks on my way to the wharf. So it's very exciting to be reuniting with Kate to stage this very special Sydney story. And we have an exceptional cast bringing Ruth Park's characters to life, including Catherine Van Davies playing Abigail, Sophia Nolan as the eponymous Beatty, Tony Cogan and Guy Simon. And I'm thrilled to have the brilliant Kate Mulvaney here with me today to have a chat about adapting Beatty Bow for the stage. Welcome, Kate.
Thank you, Kip.
Kate, it's wonderful to have you here with me. Tell me, you have an affinity with Ruth Park. You obviously adapted the Harp and the South trilogy, as I mentioned. What is it about Ruth's writing that you connect with, and why are her stories so relevant for audiences today?
Well, like you, as a young child, they were the books that I used to pull off the shelf and just dive into and lose myself in. To find that the Rocks actually existed was an amazing revelation for me. The thing about Ruth is that she often talks in playing Beatty Bow about being a spay wife, about the notion of the spay wife, which is a woman with great power within, that can only be held by a woman, that passes on this power from generation to generation. A spay wife can see the past, the present and the future all at once, and that is the beauty of Ruth's writing. She can write so much for the world she was living in with an acknowledgement of the past, but with a hope of the future. And it just seemed right in this day and age to bring that aspect of playing Beatty Bow and all of its characters to the new theatre.
Yeah, very fitting to talk about past, present and future when we're opening a new space.
Yeah.
And you mentioned the Rocks as well. I imagine, knowing you are an assiduous researcher when you're making a new play. What sort of research have you done for this piece?
Oh, I like my research. I did every walking tour that was possible to do pre-COVID, but also one of the amazing things that this terrible time has actually delivered was the fact that I could go into the Rocks and have it almost completely to myself for a while as well. And the thing that I learned most was so often we're kind of pushing past Bucks nights and hens parties and the cruise ship tourists to go through the Rocks. But the thing to always remember is to look up and see the names of the people that came here as immigrants and made their start in this area, but also the cobblestones and the first footprints of that ancient land. And encapsulating all of that was something that I researched I deep dived into that. And the song lines, the beautiful song lines, that I love putting a song in a play.
You do.
And it was really important to me that when we sit down to watch this show, that we could hear the Rocks of the time around us as well. So there's a lot of that in the research that will make its way onto the stage as well.
Well, I mean, your script is extraordinary already. We're in the midst of designing the production at the moment. And one of the things we're thinking about is how to realise this sort of universe you've created, which is so remarkable because you've made it for people of all ages, both young and old, can come and enjoy in this story. How do you do that as a writer? How do you create a piece that speaks to people of all generations?
Well, when you have the text of Ruth Park, the fabulous thing about Ruth is she doesn't talk down to people. She doesn't talk up to people. She is completely inclusive as a writer. It's all ages, all genders, all sexualities, all cultures. And she represents that so beautifully on the page. And as a result, what can be an adult story is also a children's story and vice versa. She reminds the adult to always remember the child inside them. And as a result, it means it's going to be for everyone. This play, we can bring families into the theatre and communities into the theatre, which is exactly what theatre should be.
Exactly what it should be. It's exactly what we've missed during this period of having our theatres closed. Well, Kate, we're very fortunate to have you authoring the show that will open our new theatres. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Kip.
Please thank Kate MULVANY, and we're so excited to have her adaptation of Playing Beatty Bow opening the Wharf Theatres at the start of 2021. Now, Playing Beatty Bow was developed and produced with the assistance of the Australian Writers Guild David Williamson Prize. And rehearsals begin early in the new year. I'm very excited to dive in, and I really hope that this play will introduce a whole new generation of theatre lovers to the Wharf, that they feel like it's their theatre and a place they'll enjoy returning to share in story for the next 50 to 60 years. There are a number of schools performances in the program for Beatty Bow, but that being said, bring your kids along, bring your family, grandparents, bring your teenagers, 12 and over, to this magical show. Now, the next show in the 2021 season of Act 1 is the Australian premiere of a brilliant piece of writing, Appropriate, by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins. Jacobs Jenkins is one of the most remarkable writers in America at the moment. He's only in his mid-30s, and yet he's already twice been nominated for the Pulitzer Prize, and he's a recipient of the MacArthur Genius Fellowship. Appropriate, which will be playing at the Rosslyn Packer Theatre from March, is one of his most lauded works to date. I was lucky enough to see it open in the Donmar in London last year and was left breathless by this searingly original dark comedy. And we're so fortunate to have the great WESLEY ENOCH, the current artistic director of Sydney Festival, directing this work with an ensemble cast including the prodigiously talented Mandy McElhinney and the superb Lucy Bell. This play is everything you want in a great night of theatre. Shrewdly drawn characters, meaty drama, big laughs, and a nuanced look at ourselves and our history. There is so much to say about this piece, but here's a message from WESLEY to tell you a little bit more.
Hello, I'm WESLEY ENOCH, and I'll be directing Appropriate by Brandon Jacobs Jenkins. He's an amazing American writer who has put together this incredibly funny, well, very dark comic family drama. It's set in the deep south of America, where a family are coming together to sell the house, their family home, after their father has passed away. And of course, each sibling wants something different from the sale. Everyone wants to kind of have their hopes and dreams realised, but you realise there's something else going on. I also like to call this play Appropriate, because what Jacobs Jenkins does is he appropriates different parts of the American canon. So there's a little bit of Arthur Miller, there's a lot of Tennessee Williams, and if you know August Osage County, you'll see that Tracy Letts kind of structure there, some of the commentary on what these great American plays basically have missed out on. There's something missing in them, and Jacobs Jenkins brings that to life in this work, Appropriate. So for me, what you're going to see on stage is a great family drama, but there's also this layering upon layering of it all. We know that each of these characters represents an archetype, especially of some of the things happening in America at the moment, and you know that some of the story's not being told, and that there is literally secrets buried in the backyard of this play. For me, in Australia, there are resonances, there are things in this country that are buried in the backyard as well that we need to address and have a little look at. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting back into a rehearsal room after my time at the Sydney Festival, but also to say to everyone, get into the theatre. I know it's been a hard year, and thumbs up for Kip, but just to say, get in there and really enjoy what the arts have to offer. It's an amazing experience. Have a great night. We'll talk to you again soon.
Oh, August Osage County, that was an incredible work. Well, there you go, Brandon Jacobs Jenkins, Appropriate, or Appropriate. A hilarious edge-of-your-seat tour through contemporary America's relationship with race, truth, and the things that we leave behind. This is one not to be missed. Now, the next play in the 2021 season is one of those shows that was originally programmed for 2020 that was unfortunately unable to go ahead. We had to cancel a total of 8 productions this year, And we made a commitment very early on that we would try and stage as many of our cancelled 2020 plays as soon as possible. And I'm really pleased that Home I'm Darling by Laura Wade, her highly original and very clever comedy, will finally be staged in 2021. This play was a hit show on the West End. It won the Olivier Award for Best New Comedy, and our resident director Jess Arthur's production is set to be truly delightful. It is so smart, it is so funny. The set that Genevieve Blanchett has designed is a delight in itself. Andrea Dimitriades and Anthony Taufer will play the retro-loving couple at the centre of this story, with Chantel Jamison, Kirsty Marillier, Tracy Mann, and the addition of Gareth Davies populating their friends and family. If anything, this story about a woman who chooses to eschew the 21st century and return to the safe confines of her home feels like it's only grown in relevance and resonance in our post-lockdown world. Now, I also have our resident director, Jess Arthur, here with us to have a chat about the production of Home I'm Darling. And welcome, Jess. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
So, Jess, as I mentioned, the show was cancelled. It was, in fact, in week 4 of rehearsals, as you know, when the show had to be taken offline. What was that like? And tell me, how are you feeling about it being reprogrammed for 2021?
I'm really glad that we can bring it back because we were in week 4 and we'd just done a run of the first act and it was really singing, like everything had locked into place and it was just elevated at the next level and then that just got taken away from us. So I think it's really special that we can bring it back. And as you've said, it really has a new resonance after what we've all across the world had to do, which is go into our homes and really deal with ourselves on a level that is quite intense, but I think really important. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a hilarious and insightful work. Tell me, what will audience expect to see when they come and see Home I'm Darling? What should they expect from your production?
Well, we kind of take what Laura Wade has set down and pushed it a bit further. She's really great at placing you into a context that seems familiar, but just starts to surprise you and crack open and really challenge you as an audience, especially when it comes to questioning what your beliefs are and also how open you actually are to the world that you live in.
And Jess, you've just directed Wonangata for us at the Rosalind Packer Theatre. You're at your debut in that space. Congratulations on an extraordinary production. What's it been like as an artist to return to making theatre and working with Wayne Blair and Hugo Weaving on Angus Sereni's remarkable text? What's it been like to reconnect with audiences as well?
It's been initially bizarre and quite challenging, to be honest, but it was special and it was such a unique, dedicated and very hardworking group of people. So I'm really lucky that I've already had a bit of a trial one back at the theatre and then a second go at a play that we've already done a lot of work on. So I'm really excited. And the response from the audiences and how ready and willing they are to be part of the world that we are in and the world that we want to share has been so heartening and really special.
That's a great point. The willingness of audiences to return to the theatre has been so comforting and encouraging for us theatre makers. Let's just go back to Home I'm Darling once more. If you could sum up the play in 3 words for our audience, why should they come and see this work?
I think because it's funny, vibrant and nostalgic.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Jess. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, there you have it, Home I'm Darling, back in 2021. One of the shows that people have actually written to me to say, please bring it back. And speaking of shows that people are hungry to see, over the years that I've been artistic director, I've often had people come up to me in foyers suggesting shows, which I love to have that engagement with you all. And one of the shows that people have mentioned more than any others over the last 4 years has been the brilliant new musical Fun Home. Now, Fun Home was also originally to be staged in 2020, and I'm delighted to be bringing it back in 2021 in a brand new production, co-produced with the Melbourne Theatre Company. It is one of those richly drawn, innovative shows that will appeal to both music theatre lovers and theatre hardcore audiences alike. Hailed as a groundbreaking masterpiece and the winner of Tony Awards including Best Musical, Best Book and Best Original Score, Fun Home is a heartwarming, heartbreaking and soaring musical based on Alison Bechdel's iconic graphic novel, with music by Janine Tesori and book and lyrics by Lisa Cron. Our production will be directed by the exceptional music theatre director Dean Bryant. And we're excited to have Marina Pryor join a wonderful cast, including Ryan Gonzalez, Emily Havea, Lucy Maunder, Adam Murphy, and Maggie McKenna, who originally played Muriel in Muriel's Wedding the Musical. And as a very special treat, here is Maggie herself with a message for you all.
Hi, I'm Maggie McKenna. I'm playing medium Alison, or college-aged Alison, in Fun Home the Musical, which is the Australian premiere at STC this April. I'm so excited to be a part of this production. One, because I love this show, I'm obsessed with it. But two, I get to work with STC again. I previously worked with them on Muriel's Wedding the Musical, where I played Muriel Heslop. And it was my first ever production, and I was terrified. But STC was so supportive through that whole process, and they have such a special place in my heart. So yeah, thrilled to be back. Muriel was such a cool character because she was kooky and left of center and a strong female lead. And Alison Bechdel, who I play in Fun Home, is also that. If you don't know, Alison Bechdel created the Bechdel test, and she's a feminist queer icon in our society. And as a queer woman myself, it's really such an honor to be able to play her. Fun Home was such a life-changing experience for me to see on Broadway. I remember just leaving that theatre being completely amazed. It's so moving, so funny, but also uplifting. And I hope everyone who comes to see it feels the same. So hope to see you all there in April. Bye.
Thank you, Maggie. Look, we can't wait to stage the Australian premiere of Fun Home in April. And the final show in Act 1 of the 2021 season is a special offer, the final ever Wharf Review. Now, we couldn't let COVID prevent the big farewell tour of the review. This comedy powerhouse, which has been at STC for nearly 2 decades over, would have been taking to the stage right now. They'd be doing their final bows at the Rosslyn Packer Theatre, were it not for the pandemic getting in the way. But have no fear, the original team of Jonathan Biggins, Drew Forsyth and Philip Scott will be back in 2021 with their dazzling accomplice Mandy Bishop for their final show, Good Night and Good Luck. Playing at the Drama Theatre in a strictly limited season, secure your tickets now with an early Act 1 ticket package. This is a show that is not to be missed. The Wharf Review team are currently in rehearsals for the start of their regional tour next month, so they've recorded this message for us today.
Hi, we're the Wharf Review.
In the rehearsal room, next month we start the regional tour of Good Night and Good Luck.
And we get to the Drama Theatre in February.
And we stay there till the end of March.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time since we started, back in the year 2000. We've seen off several artistic directors, several prime ministers.
But no head of state.
Head of state? Who's the head of state?
The Queen.
Oh, so she is.
Well, she was alive when we recorded this. But,
that's true.
Anyway, we'll have to see you there. Brilliant.
And that's Act 1 of our season 2021. A landmark new Australian work, playing Beatty Bow, to open our wharf. One of the best new plays out of America, Inappropriate. 2 eagerly anticipated works from 2020 ready to entertain your socks off in Home I'm Darling and Fun Home, and the special edition of the Wharf Review's farewell season. 2021 is a special year in STC's history as we return to the Wharf and as we all continue our return to theatre. We can't wait to have you with us. Now, for Act 1, you can purchase a package of 2 to 4 plays and access a range of benefits, including savings on tickets. As I mentioned, you can also get first access to the strictly limited season of the Wharf Review as a special offer before single tickets go on sale. All details are on our website right now, including the dates when you can start booking ticket packages. Our season ticket holders really are the lifeblood of our theatre company, and by booking an Act 1 ticket package, you play a key role in keeping our theatre community strong. In closing, I'd like to make some big thank yous. This has been an unpredictable and difficult year in so many ways for so many people, but it's been incredibly moving to have such an amazing community rallying around us. While 2020 will be remembered as a year of isolation and distance, we can also celebrate the incredible sense of togetherness and camaraderie that we as a community have shown each other. First, I want to thank our artists and theatre professionals. Without them, we wouldn't have any work to put on our stages. This year was devastating for our artists, particularly our freelance workers, and the tenacity with which you have weathered this period has been remarkable. I'm so pleased we can have you back in the theatre again. I'm so pleased we can get our workforce back to work and to have our industry doing what we do best, making theatre. I also want to thank and acknowledge the work of the STC staff for all they have done during this challenging period and for their hard work and commitment in the Herculean task of reopening theatres. I want to reiterate our deepest thanks to our incredible community of donors who have helped pull us through 2020. More than 5,000 people stepped in to save the company and made donations of all sizes. The collective impact of these has truly changed our future. This was the longest period that our theatres were dark in the history of the company, and theatre lovers across Sydney have shown us that they want STC to endure and come back strong. To everyone who has made a donation, to all our season ticket holders who have stuck by us, to everyone who has donated their ticket back to the company, and everyone who has taken a credit voucher or even sent us messages of support. Thank you so much. This is your theatre company, and we wouldn't have endured this crisis without you. There is still a lot of uncertainty as we head into 2021. It's challenging to program a season not knowing exactly what our future may hold. And for that reason, I have to extend a huge thank you to a particular group of donors, our 11 angel donors, who have stepped forward showing significant philanthropic leadership in providing the upfront funding that we needed in order to commit to the plays we have announced today. There is still a lot of work to do, but this very special gesture has ensured that we could plan for the future with confidence. Thank you to our 2021 angels. I want to say thank you to STC's board and foundation for your guidance, support and leadership during this period of uncertainty, and for working tirelessly to get STC back on its feet as soon as possible and always prioritising reconnecting artists with audiences. Thank you to our government partners, the federal government through the Australia Council and the New South Wales government through Create New South Wales. And thank you also to our generous corporate partners who stuck by us in what was a very difficult year for both us and for them. We really appreciate their ongoing commitment and as we forge ahead into 2021. So thanks for joining us today, our first virtual launch. We've made live internet launching, but we're really wanting to make live theatre with you, and we're so excited to be back on stage, launching a season of theatre. Goodbye, and I can't wait to see you in a foyer very, very soon.